Larry Goldberg, this has been a week to, I think, remember, and it might be creating an entirely new paradigm that we will all really hopefully benefit from over the next 5 or 10 years. What say you?
Are you talking about the price of gold plunging or the price of silver plunging? What are we talking about?
Well, the price of silver and the price of gold is something I do want to talk about before we get off
Okay.
air.
Yeah, I'm
But
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I,
I know what you want to talk. I know exactly what you want to talk.
well, so, we had the call. And then we had the news, and then we had more news and more news. I mean, it's just kind of been a crazy day. Well, can we start with the call? Were there any parts of the call that particularly hit you that maybe you think are being underreported?
Yeah, I think that the call precipitated for me a clarity in the whole Muskonomy coming together, and Elon now has it fixed in his mind. And so, I posted this morning, I don't know if you saw the post yet, but I posted a little idea about the merger of the three companies, and I put it in the form of a board memo because Elon inspired me
Mm,
by that call.
mm.
I think a lot of people didn't hear what he said or didn't listen to what he said, or they want to know about next week's delivery or, this model. I mean, but he's he's moved on. He's thinking about, you know, this theme of abundance. And so I thought that was very telling. I thought that, he is looking towards building a whole new, and these things came to him not because he invented these ideas 5 years ago or 20 years ago when he started these companies. He invented these things because he was working from first principles.
Mhm, mhm.
And those principles is what actually ends up creating this broad infrastructure of innovation that all lead in this one direction of, AI and this creative idea of abundance. So,
So, I consider him to be the greatest entrepreneur ever. And you and I both are serious entrepreneurs. You way more serious than me. Anyway, but one of the things I think that maybe all entrepreneurs share in their heart of hearts is they want to leave the planet better than they found it. And Elon seems to have that as usual, in spades on a whole nother level.
yeah.
And so each of the inventions, each of the companies that he started,
Hmm.
all were based on the idea that there was a crying need or a real opportunity to provide something that humankind could truly benefit from, whether that's towards abundance or whether that's towards uh, uh, you
Mars.
know our Mars managing resources so that we recycle the resources rather than just extracting them. All of these things have been, as I think, as you point out, it's been, well, now that I've done all those things, oh my gosh, um, and this is, I think, sometimes how his thinking, which is nothing like my thinking, which is, all right, nobody else is doing this. I know we can get to this abundance, but I'm nervous or worried that nobody else is going to pull it off. And I've got all these tools now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Apart from being a great entrepreneur, or the greatest of entrepreneurs, you put it, he's also one of the greatest product managers that ever lived. You know, there was this guy at Apple who was pretty good, I admit. other than Steve Jobs, I think he's one of the greatest product managers that ever lived. And he's designing a product not for a particular market or for a particular group of people. He's designing a product for humanity. And as these things tend to do, these things are, the product opportunities unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. As he sees it unfold, he's expanding, the market. He's expanding the TAM, as people would want to say, to be all of humanity. So, yeah, I mean, as I was explaining to somebody earlier today, the first principles thinking drives this kind of, ever expanding opportunity and ever expanding functionality. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, to see this thing unfold, you can actually follow his thought pattern. He used to write a blog. I often talk about this because that's actually how I found him. He used to write a blog in days when blogs were something, we're going back 20 years. He used to write a blog about the Falcon 1 and all the work around trying to get Falcon 1 launched, and each failure and why it failed, and how this happened. And he goes into the whole mechanics or the science or the actual experience of it all. He writes brilliantly, but you could see the evolution of thinking. He made it very clear and simple and forthright. And he wrote, the first, all the Tesla materials at first. He doesn't do that anymore, and I don't think he writes anymore. But because, like the last plan that they published, I think number 3 or number 4. I don't remember what number.
I think it's
the master plan number 3 or 4. He didn't write it. It was a company wrote it as a thing. So I missed that, the simplicity and clarity of his writing. I really missed that. But this master plan is going to be his, and it's going to bring all of this together. And I think he's going to need to join these companies together, because I think the only way he's going to be able to put a product together, this continuum of products together, is to bring these companies together. A lot of people saying, it's not financially good idea, and it's for this reason and that reason. But I don't think all of that matters. I think to him, it's the goal and how to get to that goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing. For instance, I haven't heard anybody talking about this part of it yet, but I think that it's one thing to have a set of engineers over here and a set of engineers here and another set of engineers over here, all three siloed. And sure, you can pick up the phone and you can call the guy in the other silo, but the truth is they're not all on the same team. And so it's kind of like not an imposition, but it's a, this is something I could like to get.
It's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than that, because there are so many interconnections, of the one thing to the other, that you can't really build them separately.
Yeah,
because then there's handoffs and there's interfaces, and it's just, you don't do that you shouldn't do that in software. You definitely shouldn't do it in hardware. But you shouldn't do it from a people point of view. The people need to sit around the table together, and even from one product to the next product, there has to be that level of close relationship. I mean, the guys working on the bot, they're probably using interchangeable parts or batteries from the I mean, it's crazy trying to, keep these companies separate when these teams are really one, so many of them are one team. So, yeah, I mean, the fewer, the closer the points of contact, the fewer contact interfaces, the better, by far.
Do you think it was the data centers in space that finally triggered him in terms of some kind of convergence of the companies? Since that's such a clear case of where the satellite is made by one, the chips are going to be made by different, and the intelligence that's needed from all of that is by the third. And do you think that might have been such a clear case of
I think I think that may have been it, but I think it came early. I think it came with AI 5.
mm,
When they were taping out AI 5, earlier in the year, even before they were taping it out, he was starting getting very excited about AI 5. And I knew there was more to it than simply, another great processor for the car. I think he started to get the sense of, he's been struggling with Grok, with XAI, not struggling, but they've
mm,
been working so hard trying to get XAI stood up. And I think he started to understand that there were solutions beyond buying these chips from, NVIDIA and the various chip manufacturers, whether it's memory or chips or and they'd invented their own Ethernet protocols, but they began to understand, he began to understand, as he, I guess, shunted between, the Cortex and Grok, and then they were thinking about this data center in the sky. I think he started seeing the pattern because he's a guy who thinks in pattern terms.
right?
He started seeing the pattern, and I think it's been dawning on him for a while now.
So to bring us up to date, up to yesterday in the morning, we had Reuters who came out and said, "Oh, they've got a couple of facilities that they've opened up in Nevada in order to allow for a possible merger." And we're saying that that's a merger, and their rumors and their inside information was saying that would be a rumor between SpaceX and XAI. Then Bloomberg was like, "Well, we have to jump in on this too."
Ante up. Yeah.
So Bloomberg comes out later in the day and says, "Well, our information says it's going to be between Tesla and SpaceX." And then you, of course,
Well, I
published,
saw them both and
yes,
I raised the ante.
right, you did, yes.
I said, no, it's a merger of all three.
All three. Yeah, yeah. And this is not something new for you. You've been talking
No.
about on my program, you've been talking
Yeah.
about a merger between all three for many months now.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of all, well, we kind of just talked about the benefits of all three, but are there any other benefits besides just the coming together of all of the brain trust, all of the knowledge, and then the
Yeah.
integration? Is there more? Are there more
Yeah.
benefits?
There's a huge benefit. They need a boatload of money. I mean, everybody was shocked yesterday. At the call that they needed $20 billion in capital, in cash, in investment in the coming year for Tesla.
Instead of 8.5.
Any Anybody who'd been following me knew that that was coming. I mean, that's the reason I had this big argument with Gary Black, and he ended up blocking me, when I stopped paying him his
$2 a month.
monthly tax. I I said when he was saying we need to buy back shares, but I said, you have no idea the amount of capital they're going to need. And I spelled it out on your program. I
Which you
showed,
did
the graph.
multiple times. Yes.
I said it's going to step up. And it didn't step up in 25. It actually went down
Mhm, mhm.
because they weren't, they weren't in it. But I knew it was coming, and boy, is it coming. And that's just to fund the plans from 3 years ago. That's nothing to do with, anything that's coming, like, the fab,
The solar factory.
the solar factory, all brand new. Kind of, we've just heard about it. So Yeah, I mean, the big issue is going to be capital. And the capital needs are going to be incredible. Firstly, 𝐒𝐚𝐴I, they've just had a big raise and a big valuation. Their competitors are raising hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars.
Multiples of what they're raising, yes.
Multiples of what 𝐒𝐚𝐴I is raising or can raise in the private markets.
Right.
There is a limit. And I think they're reaching that limit. So they need money. SpaceX are building not one, but two rocket factories with production lines, high-speed production lines, never been done before in rocketry. They're building factories capable of producing multiple rockets a week, maybe even a day.
Yes.
And the average rocket factory takes 3 to 4 months to make, one tank.
Yeah, yeah.
If they make half a dozen, 2 dozen rockets a year, that's like, oh my God, they're stepping up.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys are talking about doing that per month or maybe per week.
Right.
They're building 2 of the largest rocket factories ever built.
And a couple of more of those billion-dollar catching machines. Yes, yeah. The towers.
We know of 5 multi-billion-dollar catching towers. Launch. That's 5. That's 4. And they're putting up these next generation satellites.
Yeah.
Thousands of them. So their capital plans, and this is before we talk about what they're going to need for the process for these data centers for Grok and 𝐒𝐴I. So they're going to be capital starved for a long time to come. And the solution is to take them public. There's a huge thirst in the public for stock in Elon-related companies, and I think the story will go down well. That's what I think.
Yeah. All right. So then your theory, as opposed to just one or the other joining, would be all 3 join. Do you have a timeline? Because people have talked about different ways this might happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me hear your timeline.
Look, it doesn't have to be done at once. I could be persuaded that it can be done in sequence. The most saleable product right now is a listing of SpaceX.
Right.
The least saleable product right now is a listing of 𝐒𝐴I, but doesn't mean to say it's not saleable. It's just pricing will be more difficult. And they may not raise what they want to raise, and I think they would. So it makes all the sense in the world for SpaceX to buy 𝐒𝐴I and incorporate it in a SpaceX listing, which, if successful, and I believe it will be, SpaceX could then acquire Tesla. And SpaceX has to acquire Tesla. SpaceX has to be the surviving company because Elon has a golden share in SpaceX. This solves the problem of control.
Right, right.
That could all be done in one, and it depends on the hunger that the banks have. They lost a lot of money on the Twitter deal with Elon.
Mhm.
But they've made it up ever since with, they've done, I think, splendidly well out of their holdings of the Tesla stock and even of the XAI stock. So it's more than possible that we'll see this done in stages, but it's also, I think, there is a strong argument to be made to get it done in one.
So if it's done, whether it's in stages or whether it's all three together, is 50 billion enough?
Yes, 50 billion is enough for SpaceX. When SpaceX acquires Tesla, they could raise another 50 billion.
Oh, I see. Okay. So SpaceX raises 50, that would cover them and XAI in terms of their needs.
Yeah.
Okay. And
If they
then
buy Tesla, they get Tesla with an extra 40 something billion,
mhm.
less the 20 they're going to spend next year, plus the free cash flow next year, which if it's 12 million, it means they're going to have a negative cash flow of 8 million on their
8
44,
billion,
leaves them
billion, billion,
36.
billion, billion, billion.
8 billion, 8 billion. A billion here, a billion there. Yeah. Yeah, so that gives them like a 38 billion and they raise 50, it's 88 billion. I think they'll probably need another 40, 50 billion, and it could be done in stages. It could be done at the time they acquire Tesla. You know, there are multiple ways it can be done.
So at the call, they talked about ways that they could also borrow money. Are you thinking that that you would rather, you think that they would rather do it all through free cash flow and stock issues?
They're going to borrow money for the solar, to finance the solar business, and they'll borrow money to finance the robo taxis. They will do asset-based financing. They've
Mhm.
done it before, they'll do it again. I don't think that they will borrow money for development of new business lines and new product. That's dangerous stuff. But they certainly will get extended credit lines for their asset sales,
Okay. All right.
in
Okay.
my view.
All right. So let's go back. It would seem like the XAI and the merger between XAI and the purchase
SpaceX.
for your SpaceX. That would be the easy one because Elon could ask Elon, "Hey, would you be willing to merge?" And Elon could say to Elon, "Yeah, I'd be willing to merge." I mean, yeah, they got to have a vote and blah blah blah, but it's all private, so it could happen
But
quickly.
pricing is the issue. It's not agreeing to the merger, it's setting the price.
Okay.
I'm not sure the boards of either company which have minority shareholders would be comfortable with Elon just saying, "Shall we sell it at this price? Shall we buy it at this price?" Yes, I agree. It's done. Not at all.
Okay.
So there's going to be a banker on either side determining value, and then there's going to be negotiation. The board's going to have to do that, and then they'll come to an agreement, and Elon will agree or disagree, and then they'll do that deal. But there has to be a lot of due diligence and a lot of I's dotted and T's crossed.
So if Elon wants to do the IPO on his birthday, how do we have enough time?
I
I don't
don't
think we have
think,
enough time for Tesla.
I don't know where this birthday thing came from. Where did the birthday thing come from?
I don't know. It's been reported multiple places. So they said that he wanted to do it, something about an alignment of the planets and also his birthday, which all would come together. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but I don't
I
think,
mean, with Elon, it could be how he's doing it, but I would I would say that may be nice to have for him, but at the end of the day, these are very complex things, and there's a lot of, I don't know if there's a merger, whether any non-US, I know that with SpaceX, there's probably no non-US regulatory hurdles to be jumped over,
Mhm.
but I'm pretty damn certain there are try it again, regulators that will want their oar in on
XAI.
𝐒𝐚𝐴𝐼, yeah.
Okay, so we'd be looking at not 6 months to even do that merger. We'd probably be looking at a close to a year if they started tomorrow on Tesla, right?
Tesla do definitely have foreign regulators that will have words to say, and that will be tough. I really don't think that's why I think that they'll do one at a time.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think, I don't even think I mean, I know that they won't let out that they want to do a second one. I'll just tell everybody they're going to do so.
So, so I don't know if anybody else has reported this yet, but I asked Grok, I said, what is the solar factory capacity? What is that worth if they sold these solar panels out of the new 100 gigawatt hour? Anyway, the gigawatts and the megawatts, I can't keep them all straight. If they sell the entire capacity, if they sold it, not just used it internally, but sold it, and Grok came back with it would be one of the smaller divisions at $480 billion a year.
480 billion is a lot of money. Just put that into perspective, six times what Tesla's doing right now.
Right. I mean, there's only three companies in the world that do more than that per year right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, 480 billion for that one. That doesn't count the chip factory. I didn't ask Grok yet because I don't think they'll sell many chips, but they're going to sell solar if they're going to make that much.
Whoa, chips. I mean, they're going to sell themselves the chips, and
That's what I
that's
know.
going to
I'm
reduce.
saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that reduces their outgoings by a
Right,
massive amount of
right,
money.
right.
Massive amount of
But I
money.
think Elon already said that, yeah, we probably use them all ourselves because they're going to put them in the robotaxis, they're going to put them in the Optimists, they're going to put them in space. I mean, there's going to be a tremendous number. Oh, and in the data centers on Earth. Oh, yeah, those. So yeah, so and now the other thing that happened in the last 24 hours is that we're starting to get confirmation that this solar factory and the fab, they're not just maybes. They're already hiring for the solar factory. They're already, I mean, the chip fab, you can tell from Elon's conversation, it's a done deal. They're doing it. It's not, this is no, and it must have been in his mind, for months and months and months to do this.
That's a very heavy lift, that fab factory. A
Yeah.
very, very heavy lift. And I think he got the idea when they were they were in these design meetings for AI5. But man, if I told you what a heavy lift that is because, the machinery that runs in the fab factory is built by one company in Holland.
Yeah.
And they have their order book packed out for I don't know how many years. So how he gets that equipment, I don't know. If he wants to make that equipment himself, then we're looking at,
Yet another level.
that's a 5-year cycle right there. If he can ever get there, but it's not a short cycle. Anyway,
Well,
who knows?
yeah, like everything else, he'll negotiate with them and they'll tell him what they can do, and they probably, based on their history, they probably can deliver. My guess is he already had that conversation. That's just a guess. But he also said he's going to do 10 of these fabs. So I'm guessing it'll be one at a time. I mean, just like they've done with energy. energy storage, they'll build one fab, and then once they've done that, they'll start the second fab.
I just, I don't see 10 fabs, but it's possible. And it could be that he's going to design a completely different process, but time will tell.
Yeah,
Time will tell.
kidding. Let's see. So, okay. Let's see. Silver.
Back to the prosaic. By the way, what did you think of Walsh as the Fed Reserve Governor, chairman?
Oh, I have that on my list as well. So
Okay, well, we'll get to it in
no,
your
it's
time.
okay. We can start there. We can start there. Kevin Walsh. Now I'm reading today. I don't know anything about Kevin Walsh, to be honest with you. I've read, I don't know, a half a dozen articles this week, but I didn't even read the articles 3 months ago because I thought, well, let's let it narrow down here first. But apparently, some people are saying he's more hawkish than the other ones were.
Than the other nominees were.
Yeah, and that's why
Yeah,
silver
but
crashed.
that conversation's been had.
Okay,
He and Besant and Trump have had
an
this
agreement.
conversation. I don't think there's going to be any question about it. Yeah, I was talking to some people today about Reagan and Reaganomics and so on. People who knew Reagan and who
Yeah.
knew, and Trump is the second Reagan. I mean, there's no doubt about it that he is implementing Reaganomics
Yeah,
or re-implementing Reaganomics. He is not going to appoint a Reserve Bank governor without having that conversation.
right.
And so I'm very comfortable. I listened to Walsh being interviewed. I was trying to catch up like you were. I knew nothing
Right,
about him.
right.
I'm pretty confident that he's going to be very active on Trump's behalf. Trump and Besant. I mean, I think Besant's going to have a big role. I think it's going to be a pretty tight team.
Yeah. Well, so the story today, however, is that gold and silver crashed along with the rest of the precious metals because with Walsh coming in, there will not be a need to store your value in precious metals. That he is not going to let inflation get out of control. He's hawkish enough. So on the one hand, we could say, well, he'll recognize that right now there's not an issue, so he could reduce, which would be Trump's intention, I'm sure. But that if inflation reared its ugly head, he wouldn't be too late like some other Federal Reserve chairman.
Gold crashed because we knew gold was going to crash.
Yeah,
Silver
you're right.
crashed because we knew silver was going to crash. We talked about this,
Put 31% on silver.
Well, I mean, I told you that I lived through the gold boom
Yeah,
of the early 80s.
yeah,
I mean, economics were out of control.
yeah,
Out of control. People were just, they were running the country without a thought. They had no economic background plan, whatever. It's exactly where we were in the Biden administration.
yeah.
It's exactly where we were in the Biden administration. So it was quite clear that this whole idea that, that gold was going and the dollar was going to fall. It's just a political, it's like the whole woke thing. People got into the state of mind, regardless of the facts on the ground. They had they'd built this whole castle in the sky. It's a castle in the sky, this whole thing with gold and silver. And anyway, I'm very pleased we're getting back to reality. I think gold's going down to like maybe 1,200, 1,800 in that range.
That's even less than
Silver's,
you were saying on Monday.
yeah, because you know what? Maybe 2,000. All right. I would live with 2,000 because of the tremendous inflation of, of the the whole COVID thing, the pandemic and stuff. So maybe we've inflated the money a little bit more than was in my head in terms of the time. But we're not going to see like gold at 5,000 for another 20 years. If another Democrat gets in and screws up again, maybe.
So I feel very vindicated, Larry. And I think you should feel vindicated as well. I think we should do a victory dance. If we were in the same room, we could do a victory dance.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
But I
Certainly
mean,
not on the air.
but when gold was at 4,000 and 4,400, that's when I said 4,400's it, and it's going to 3,400. So it took longer than I thought, and people were crazier than I thought. And you agreed. You thought it would go even lower, and you were actually more negative than I was earlier. And silver, I just flat said it. This makes no sense at all. I said it every day, sometimes twice a day, that the silver thing made no sense at all. So we are looking at the return of, but man, there had to be some people that got clipped today that were on margin and whatnot. Holy mackerel!
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
No doubt about it. Made no sense. If people would just listen to our monthly call, after Employment Friday, Kathy does her shtick. She does her, arc, looks at the economy. And then on the Saturday, we get to critique that.
right.
And if people would only listen to, Kathy and the two of us, they'd be doing fine today.
That's right. That's right. Which, by the way, that's a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow will be that show, and it is now becoming one of the most watched shows on my channel. So, people do understand that. I mean, Kathy, um, you know, she gets a lot of grief because her ETFs didn't do very well for a couple of years there. But she was on the front page of every financial newspaper and magazine in the country the prior year.
Kathy's one of the finest economists in the country.
Right. So people should get over the grief they've been giving her. She really knows her stuff. And when she doesn't, Larry and I, talk about
And
it.
ARC had a good run last year.
ARC is having a very good run right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a little bit, so I watch it. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, Larry, I want to talk about one more thing before we look at the rest of the numbers, which won't take very long today. We've got the solar panel factory in Buffalo. Who knew?
Oh, no, I knew that because I tried to buy the solar roof
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then they stiffed me on that. Uh,
I
they
mean,
doubled the price. They doubled the price.
doubled the price.
And I said, fine, I'll have to buy it. I couldn't get it from them.
Still,
Eventually, I sold my house. I still haven't got a
solar roof.
solar roof.
No, when I wanted solar on my rental property, actually I was still living in it at the time, and when I wanted solar on that, I couldn't put up the predecessor roof from what was the name of his cousin's company,
Solar City.
Solar City. I tried to get it from Solar City, but they couldn't do it on a steel roof. So this new design will work on a steel roof. So anyway, yeah. So I was joking about not knowing about Buffalo, but who knew that they were going to be coming out with a brand new, spanking new product that looks really, really good. Now, by the way, if they maximize production on that first line, it's only $900 million a year. So we don't need to get terribly excited about that one.
No, and the purpose of building the solar roof, the solar panels there is to scale them to, very, very large numbers and to develop the technology for the solar panels that they're going to need in outer space.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember if we talked about it on Monday, Larry. If the companies are still separate, do you see Tesla being the one who makes all of the cells and then each SpaceX would manufacture their own arrays, and Tesla would make the Earthbound?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I don't see how they can keep separate. Anyway, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. The
I
future
don't
is
know who's making their current solar arrays.
I
They use
looked it
solar arrays right
I
now
looked it up, and it's a where were they from? I can't remember now, but there's like one company primarily that builds them
in
for,
China.
for space. It wasn't China. It might have been
Good.
Taiwan. Might have been Taiwan. I'd have to go back on my grok and find it, but yeah. Um, so Larry, the stock that we all love and care about went up 5%, but it came back down at the end. So what the heck? Ended up at 430. It had been as high as, I think, 440. Yep, 440 for the day, 430,
For
actually
those who,
439.
for those who care. Who cares about the Tesla stock price
I know. Well, there are
today?
today, yes. Well, there are people that trade it. Obviously, there are people that trade it. They sold off when it got to 440. So, but I didn't know if there was anything, I didn't see anything later in the day that would have caused that. So maybe just profit taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the rest of the market was I don't know. I didn't look. I don't know what the market did today. The Dow was ended up it got close to coming back to even, only down 0.36. The Nasdaq not so much, was down a full percent. The S&P right in the middle, 0.43. But as I pointed out to people, the S&P has been down, all these have been down, but the S&P is at 69.39. Actually 69, yeah, 69.39. That's only 70 points or 65 points from its all-time high. So it's not like it's really down that very much.
I think we'll see 8,000 before the end of the year in the S&P.
Okay, so you're higher than Tom Lee. You're at 8,000. All right. I wouldn't question it.
I think there's going to be an incredible burst of activity in the next 2 quarters, financial, economic, and people's attitude.
Do you have a feeling on the rotation? People talk about that we've already started a rotation there is clear rotation right now. Do you think it continues through the year? That's again, Tom Lee thinks that the financials and the materials and some of these others are going to do much better this year, and NASDAQ maybe not so much.
That seems to make sense. I'd like to I'd like to actually look at the numbers and think about it more deeply before I answer that, because there's definitely a big change going to happen in the industrials as we start seeing profits rise quite dramatically if our group thesis is correct. And so they will rise. I don't think the Mag 7 or the Super 6 or whatever it is are going to slow down their pace of growth. So we could see the differential reduced, but I don't think we're going to see a switch in terms of leadership in growth, in market increase, market price increase.
Mhm, mhm. So Walsh appointment had no impact on the bond market. In fact, it went up a little bit, up 1.4 basis points today, sitting at 424, kind of around where it's been now for a couple of weeks. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on what's going to finally break the back of the bond market? Well, not break the back, actually. What's going to encourage more people to come in and start buying?
I don't know. It's a mystery, but that mystery will soon be revealed. I think it can't continue this. Look, we're going to see another big GDP growth figure. I mean, if you look at the Fed, what is it, the Atlanta Fed's numbers? I mean, we're going off the charts. another quarter like this, and
Yeah.
the, anyway, who knows? I mean, we'll see. I
Yeah.
hope Bush's marching orders is immediately reduce the interest rates.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they are. I can't imagine he would have been appointed without it.
Right, right.
Natural gas. I don't know how anybody plays natural gas, Larry.
Well,
12.71% today.
yeah, but you just got to look at the weather. We are getting one of the worst cold snaps we've ever had in the next day or so, and
Yeah.
people are buying natural gas out the wazoo. So
Mm.
it it's just a weather thing. It's, the demand is so elastic. It's just incredible.
Yeah. 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 And oil is up high. People are saying it's because of Iran. We're back up to $65.74.
Yeah, we may be looking at a war in Iran, an overnight war that'll last, a couple
24
of
hours.
couple of days or something, and just a lot of death and destruction. Who knows? I don't know who's going to go in and occupy that country, but it's not going to be the United States. So I don't know who takes over.
So do you think it's just a headquarters strike? Is that what you're thinking? Headquarters and police and
Yeah, but that strike is supposed to lead to a big revolution, and
right,
then
right.
then who knows what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Unless Mossad is on the ground and knows how to get the right
I
guys in the
mean,
right
you
place.
got a handful of people in the Mossad. Even if there's 1,000 people, it's a gigantic country. It's 90 million people. Gigantic. It's huge. And it's a very complex country, many, many religions, many, many tribes. When I say tribes,
Yeah,
nationalities. It's one of the most complicated regions in the world. And, you got to break the back of the mullahs, but after the back is broken, who knows what animal creeps out of there?
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So just so that people have the final number for today, in case they haven't looked it up, silver ended up only down 25% after being
That's
down as much as 31, and gold ended up 8.25% down. So there you go. Copper,
who would have thought that we're talking about gold going down by 8% is only 400 and something dollars. I mean, $400 in a day for gold price to go down. Holy moly. Not a couple of years ago, that would have been a third of the gold price.
that's right. That's right. Copper back down under $6.
Hmm.
Copper has been kind of playing in this same world.
Yeah.
It seemed like it would, but I did check it, Larry. The rest of the commodities are not. No, agriculture is actually down, and industrials are slightly, or chemicals and ores and whatnot are slightly up.
Well, you only have to look at the inflation rate. It's
Yeah,
it's running like 1.22, 1.25, 1.24. Wow.
yeah, yeah. I noticed that Kathy on the Moonshots podcast yesterday, mentioned trueflation again there. We need more people to pay attention to trueflation. Bitcoin, oh, it recovered a little bit. It's up $85. Do you know did you hear what it was earlier today? Oh yeah. It's under 84. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Ethereum is looking like if it keeps going this way, might get all the way back to 2,500. It's at 26.99.
Hmm. Wow.
So yeah, Ethereum's down 3.44 today. Bitcoin is up just a tiny bit. All right, there's no futures market. So that's what we have on a Friday night, Larry. Uh,
Wishing everybody a great weekend.
are you over your jet lag?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I didn't really have much this trip.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Larry. As always, thank you for coming on. And to all of you out there, don't forget to stay to listen to Brian Wang, because yes, we are going to talk about some of the same stuff, but Brian is our SpaceX expert. He knows SpaceX backwards, forwards, and inside out. And so he's going to have, I'm sure, a slightly different take than Larry did. So look forward to that coming up shortly. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
To all of you, it's been great talking to you.